Good morning, students. From today, we are starting a new topic, nutrition. Competency number 8 is given for nutrition, and today's competency is 8.2. 8.1 competency is given for vitamins. So that will be discussed in another lecture. So competency number 8.2, and today's subtopic is importance of carbohydrate and various types of dietary fibers in the diet. Carbohydrates, all of us know, they supply energy for our body. It is the chief source of energy for our body. Carbohydrate should provide 60 to 65% of total caloric requirement of the body. 1 gram of carbohydrate provides 4 calories of energy. Glucose, which is a monosaccharide, it is utilized by all tissues of the body. After meal, glucose is converted into glycogen and it is stored in liver and skeletal muscle for future use. Next is protein sparing action of carbohydrates. Proteins are required for bodybuilding. In the deficiency of carbohydrates, that is during fasting and starvation, proteins are used as a source of energy. Therefore, if we take enough carbohydrate, such use of proteins are stopped. Then next importance of carbohydrate is some tissues like central nervous system and RBCs are totally dependent on glucose for energy. Carbohydrates are also required for synthesis of pentose sugars like ribose, ribulose, xylulose. These pentose sugars are required for synthesis of nucleotides like ATP, UTP, cyclic AMP, etc. and nucleic acids like DNA, RNA. When consumed in excess, carbohydrates are converted into fat and get deposited in the adipose tissue. So this is the chain I have shown how carbohydrates are converted into glucose. Glucose undergoes glycolysis to form pyruvate, and pyruvate through link reaction form acetyl-CoA. This acetyl-CoA undergoes de novo synthesis pathway to form fatty acids, which combines with glycerol to form trialkyl glycerol, and it is stored in adipose tissues. Carbohydrate also provides dietary fibers. Dietary fiber helps in regular bowel movement, reducing weight, decreasing the cholesterol level in the blood. Then we will see the examples of carbohydrates which are present in our diet. First is sucrose, which is also called as table sugar. It is a diet saccharide, therefore it is a refined sugar. Then lactose, which is called as milk sugar. It is also a disaccharide and therefore it is a refined sugar. Starch, which is made up of many monosaccharides, so it is called as complex carbohydrate. And dietary fibers, these are the substances which are not absorbed and in the alimentary canal because they are not digested. Now we will see one by one carbohydrates. First is sucrose. It is also called as cane sugar. It is used as a sweetening agent. It is present in many compounds like sugar cane, beets, chocolates, biscuits, fruits, etc. It is consisting of one molecule of alpha D glucose and one molecule of beta D fructose. In the body, sucrose is hydrolyzed by the enzyme sucrase. This enzyme is present in the intestinal epithelial cells. On eating, this sucrase acts on sucrose and break down into glucose and fructose. This glucose and fructose is then absorbed in the blood. Remember, this sucrase is not present in the blood. Therefore, sucrose can be given intravenously in patients of cerebral edema. So here what happens in case of cerebral edema, when sucrose is given intravenously, it remains in the blood as it is not hydrolyzed because enzyme sucrase is not present. So it will remain in the blood and increases the osmolarity of the blood. And when this hyperosmolar blood travels through the capillaries of the brain, it absorbs water from the surrounding cerebral cells decreasing the edema of the brain. Coming to the clinical importance of sucrose, in some patients the enzyme sucrase is absent since birth. This is called as inborn deficiency of sucrase. Therefore, such persons does not able to digest the sucrose, and sucrose is not absorbed. Only monosaccharides are absorbed. Sucrose is a disaccharide. So, this unabsorbed sucrose from small intestine enters into the large intestine. In the large intestine, this sucrose is fermented, which leads to the formation of acids, leading to loose motions, abdominal pain, and flatulence for the person after consumption of sucrose. Next carbohydrate is lactose. It is called as milk sugar because it is found in milk. It is consists of one molecule of alpha D glucose and one molecule of beta D galactose. Lactose is digested by the enzyme lactase, which is also present in gastrointestinal epithelial cell. This lactase acts on lactose and break down into glucose and galactose. This glucose is and galactose is later on absorbed in the blood. Lactose intolerance. This is due to deficiency of enzyme lactase, leading to lactose intolerance. Here lactose is not digested due to deficiency of lactase enzyme. So undigested lactose from small intestine enters into the large intestine, where it is fermented to acids, which leads to the loose motions, abdominal pain, and flatulence, just like previous case. Now this lactose intolerance is more common than deficiency of enzyme sucrase. Lactase deficiency is of two types: congenital lactose intolerance and acquired lactose intolerance. In congenital lactose intolerance, the lactase enzyme is deficient since birth because the corresponding gene is either absent or defective. In acquired lactose intolerance, if a person does not consume milk for a long period of time in any form, then the synthesis of enzyme lactase in the intestinal epithelial cell stops. And if such person suddenly take lactose in milk or in any form, then due to temporary deficiency of enzyme lactase, this lactose is not digested and the patient will have symptoms of lactose intolerance. But after repeated consumption of milk, the synthesis of enzyme lactase will start in the intestinal epithelial cell, and after few days that person will able to digest the lactose. So this is a temporary type of intolerance. Next carbohydrate is starch. It is the main carbohydrate present in the diet. Starch is present in cereals like wheat, rice, oats, barley, legumes like beans, peas, lentils, etc., tubers like potatoes, cassava, bread, pasta, noodle, etc. This starch is digested by enzyme amylase, which is present in the saliva and pancreatic juice. Starch which resists the digestion is called as resistant starch. Starch molecule is made up of glucose. The arrangement of glucose is in two different ways. In the inner part of starch molecule, glucose is arranged in a straight chain manner. That part is called as amylose. And in the outer part, the glucose is arranged in a branch structure in the starch molecule. So that part of starch is called as amylopectin. Now coming to the resistant starch. Resistant starch escapes the digestion in small intestine and reaches the large intestine. That starch is called as resistant starch. Now size of starch granule is directly linked with the digestion. Now this starch granules varies with source, cooking and cooling. So if you see, various sources of starch molecules are shown here, that is potato, wheat and rice. If you compare the size, then you can understood that in all these three cases the size of starch granule varies. On cooking, the starch granule size of starch granule increases, therefore more surface area is available for action of enzyme amylase and can be easily digested. Also on cooking, the starch molecule is broken down or various branches of the starch molecules are separated so that it can be easily digested. Therefore on cooking, starch is easily digested. When the cooked food is cooled, then a process called retrogradation occurs in the starch molecule, due to which the size of starch molecule decreases and therefore it cannot be easily digested. Dietary sources of resistant starch includes oats, cooked and cooled rice, green bananas, beans, legumes, etc. Now, what are the effects of resistant starch? Resistant starch delays the process of digestion and absorption. Resistant starch get partially digested itself in small intestine and it is not reabsorbed. So, it reaches into the large intestine. In the large intestine, bacteria fermented this resistant starch into small chain fatty acids and mainly that is butyric acid, and some gases are formed. Now this causes mild laxative effects. Laxative means increase in the peristaltic movement, and therefore the loose stools are formed which are easy for defecation. Next is resistant starch lowers the glycemic index. Glycemic index means the rise in blood sugar level after intake of particular food. So simply by interfering with the absorption of various monosaccharides, resistant starch delays the absorption process and therefore the rise in blood glucose level is not sudden, it is slowly. So that is the meaning of lowering of glycemic index. Now this glycemic index improves the fasting blood glucose and insulin level, so it is helpful for a diabetic person. Now it is found that when there is sudden increase in the blood glucose level, then insulin secretion also increases. When fasting blood glucose level improves, means decreases, the insulin level also decreases, and this is very helpful in diabetic persons. Resistant starch also decreases the gastrointestinal absorption of food and helps in loosening the weight. So just by interfering or just by mixing with the food, it prevent the absorption of some amount of food. Therefore, it helps to lose weight of a person. Resistant starch also decreases LDL cholesterol of the blood and it maintains regular bowel habit. So here I have shown you the two food items and their corresponding blood glucose value. Food item 1 and food item 2 both have given to a patient with same quantity 50 mg, but if you see with food item 1 there is sudden rise in the blood glucose level and blood glucose level reaches to a high level, and in food item 2 as the absorption is slow, the blood glucose level increases steadily and slowly. So in this case you can say that glycemic index of food 1, food item 1 is more than glycemic index of food item 2, and blood glucose level is directly proportional to insulin secretion. Now coming to the dietary fibers, it is the name given collectively to all indigestible carbohydrates present in the food. Enzymes required for the digestion of carbohydrates are absent in the human intestine. Examples of dietary fibers are food like vegetables, fruits, grains, etc. They are found in these foods. Now actual dietary fibers are cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, pectin, mucilages, etc. There are two types of dietary fibers: soluble dietary fibers and insoluble dietary fibers. Soluble dietary fibers means, as the name suggests, they dissolve in water and form a gel-like material. They are found in fruits, vegetables, legumes, barley, oats, oat bran, etc. Insoluble dietary fibers does not dissolve in water and therefore they cannot be absorbed, but they present in the intestine and hold water. They promote intestinal motility by adding bulk to its content. When bulk of the food is not absorbed from the intestine, the intestinal motility automatically increases. They are found in whole wheat, flour, nuts, beans, vegetables, fruit bran, etc. The daily requirement of dietary fibers should be between 25 to 30 grams. Beneficial effect of dietary fibers: they prevent constipation. Simply by adding bulk to the intestinal content, they increases the peristalsis movement, which helps in regular bowel movement and prevention of constipation. It, just like resistant starch, it improves glucose tolerance. That means it decreases the glycemic index of the food. Then it reduces plasma cholesterol level. Dietary fibers, when taken in the diet, they will fill our stomach and they have therefore satiety value, that means feeling of fullness of stomach without adding calories. By regular bowel movement, they decreases the chances of GIT cancer. Now we will see this one by one in details. So these fibers absorb water, increases bulk to the stool and increases the bowel movement and prevents constipation. Improves glucose tolerance means fibers decreases the absorption of glucose from the intestine and decreases the glycemic index. Reduce plasma in cholesterol level. Fiber decreases the absorption of cholesterol from the intestine and decreases the cholesterol level of the blood. Satiety value: by adding bulk to the food, fibers causing filling of stomach, this gives satiety value to the person. They also prevent obesity by not supplying energy and helps to reduce weight. They decreases GIT cancer by maintaining the regular bowel movement and removing the toxins regularly, which decreases the chances of colon cancer. Now, adverse effect of dietary fibers: if consumed in large quantity, dietary fibers interferes with the absorption of vitamins, proteins, essential fatty acids and minerals, leading to deficiency of these compounds in the body. Dietary fibers also interfere with the digestion of carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. Small amount of dietary fibers are fermented by bacterial flora in large intestine and lead to gaseous formation. So this is about the importance of carbohydrates and dietary fibers. Thank you very much.